Just let me know. Am I going to see it on the screen? Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live, which is now on YouTube Live. Thank you for your patience. Like all great plans, technology can certainly get in the way sometimes. We appreciate your patience today. Thank you for migrating over from Facebook to YouTube on this short notice this evening, but we appreciate you being here. My name is Curtis Null, Superintendent of Conroe ISD. We welcome you to this, our 8th update since our first school closure way back during spring break. Today's date is June 29th. This is our 6 p.m. Update, which is now our 6:20 p.m. update. I hope that this message finds you all well. It's been quite a number of days since we last visited. I was looking back at our last script, and it was before spring break and right in the middle of May, and so much has happened throughout our school district and really throughout our nation and this world since we last had an opportunity to visit. Now, I know many of you are joining in tonight and you want to hear a lot of information about next school year. What I do want to tell you right up front, which might be disappointing or it might ease some apprehension, is that we don't have any big breaking news tonight, okay? We are still waiting on a lot of information from the state, and so we can't make decisions until we get a lot of information from them. So kind of which has been our approach throughout this entire ordeal. We're trying to be measured. We're trying to make decisions on time. We don't want to make decisions today that we're going to come back to you in 2 weeks and say, oh, well, we've had to change because the state changed the rules. We want to make our decisions right on time so that we can give you the best information that we can. But let's talk about what we will talk about tonight. We're going to talk about this virus, and we're going to talk about how to protect our community and how to protect this school year. That is a focus of mine right now. What can we do as a community to make sure that we have an opportunity to get our kids back in school this year? We're also going to talk about our reopening efforts. So what is it that we're doing right now as a school district so that we will be ready when we have all the information we need? And we're also going to share information with you tonight about online instruction and the options that TEA has given us for next school year. Now, one of the things that was on my script from our number 7 update, and I left it on there today because I think it's really important and it still seems very timely, and that is that kindness, hope, and positivity matter. We know that this is a hard time in our community. Many of our families are experiencing illness. Many are experiencing economic hardship, social unrest, and it's hard not only for us as adults, but you think about what that does to our children. And I know you, me, all of us want to get back to some semblance of normal so that we can feel more comfortable and our children can too. And for many of us, school is that normal, right? That's what we are grown accustomed to. It's been our life's pattern to go to school, and we want to get back to that point. Now, one of the things when you talk about kindness I want to mention is our board statement from our board meeting just a few weeks ago. As our board member, Scott Kidd, read a statement that talked about serving our black community, but also serving all of our students to make sure that each and every student in Conroe ISD feels welcome and loved every single day that they come to school. And beyond that, our employees as well. So we appreciate that sentiment. I would encourage you to go back to our Facebook page or the board's website on the Conroe ISD website and read that statement. It was beautifully written and beautifully read by Mr. Scott Kidd. Now, if you are new to these Facebook Lives or YouTube Lives as they are tonight, we always try to start with good news. It's important. That positivity piece is really important, and so tonight's not going to be any different. One of the things we'll talk about is our feeding program. So you remember that as soon as we closed schools last year, we immediately stood up an opportunity for families to come in and pick up meals so that no students would go hungry during our school closures. Well, I'm excited to tell you that work continues, and for the first time ever, that work is going to continue through the month of July. So our very next opportunity for pickup will be this Thursday, and you can see our sites there at Caney Creek High School, Oakridge High School, and Sam Houston Elementary. We've condensed our sites for the summer. But to date, our great child nutrition team has prepared and delivered over 880,000 meals since our first day of school closure. So thank you to our child nutrition team and all of our campus volunteers that have made that happen. Now, one of the other really big things that happened since the last time we talked is graduation. If you tuned into our first Facebook Lives, you heard a lot of talk about graduations. That class of 2020 was our focus. We were doing everything that we could do to make sure we had an opportunity to have graduation for those seniors. And I'm proud to tell you that we not only had graduation, but we had beautiful graduation ceremonies. They had all the pomp and circumstance that a graduation should have, but they also had social distancing and all the safety features that we needed to have in this environment. I'm so proud of our team, our campuses for making that happen, and our students. So last week I mentioned to Andrew, our videographer who helps us put these programs together, that we should have a video just to sort of sum up graduations to share with you all. Because if you didn't have a senior last year, you wouldn't have had this opportunity to see how those graduations turned out and know you've heard so much about them. Well, even better than Andrew producing a video, we have a real treat tonight. I want to introduce you to a program. It's called EFTA, Education for Tomorrow Alliance. This is a wonderful group of volunteers in our community that are focused on giving children opportunities in the math and sciences to reach out and better themselves and move forward. You've probably heard of EFTA, you just may not know it yet. If you've ever been involved in Elementary Science Festival, where you go to Lone Star Convention Center and all those great activities, that's led by EFTA. If your child in junior high or high school has been involved in science fair, robotics, that's EFTA. Or perhaps they've had work panels where they bring in experts to their school and they get to listen to experts in their field talk, that's EFTA. But one of the other great things that they do is they provide summer internship opportunities for rising seniors. Well, this year we had an opportunity here in the administration building to have a summer intern in our communications department. Her name was Valerie Villegas, and we could see Valerie there on our screen. And she worked in our communications department, and she actually produced a video about our graduation. So rather than us produce a video, we wanted to highlight our students' work tonight. So we're going to spend about the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds enjoying this video, and I hope your students are in the room, because not only will we see great images of our graduations, but you're going to hear wonderful advice from some of our graduated seniors on how to be successful in high school. So let's turn it over now to Valerie's video.
This class came into the world at a crazy and scary time, and they will be leaving high school with a very similar feeling. What a crazy 18 years.
High school can be very difficult. It can be a very stressful 4 years, and I know that it's very overwhelming for a lot of students.
It's probably one of the best environments that I've ever been in, and I've had a lot of fun making lifelong friends with them.
Favorite memories of school? I honestly never really had any until I transferred to Hawk.
Some of my favorite memories from high school are the senior sunrise and the student faculty basketball game.
Going to the football games and soccer games.
Winning the homecoming game my senior year.
Bonding with my teammates was a lot of fun.
Making memories with my classmates and getting to represent College Park in my community.
If I had to give a piece of advice about high school, it would be
stay on top of your work.
Pay attention in class.
Always get your work turned in on time.
Don't goof off and don't screw around.
Take your grades seriously.
Manage your time wisely.
Definitely take advantage of everything Oakridge has to offer.
Get involved in your school as much as possible.
Find your place and it'll make your 4 years memorable.
Try to do things that make you happy, that you enjoy.
Because at the end of the day, whatever makes you smile is what's going to get you through this.
During high school, build as many relationships as you can.
It gives you a support system of people that not only have a similar interest to you, but they're all in high school.
Be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't put yourself in fake crowds.
Be successful. You're going to feel really proud of yourself when you graduate.
Just enjoy it.
Cherish every moment, try to enjoy it, and try to help others enjoy it at the same time.
Take it day by day and appreciate every day as it comes.
Enjoy every moment because you don't know when it will be your last.
Shout out to all my seniors. Good luck in college.
Go War Eagles!
Go Cavaliers!
Go Phoenixes!
Go Tigers!
Go Islanders!
Let's go get them, Panthers.
Congratulations to our class of 2020. Valerie, thank you for the great video. What a celebration those 5 days were. We had 10 graduation ceremonies over 5 days, one at 8 a.m. and one at 8 p.m. And everyone did a wonderful job. So congratulations to that class of 2020. And now we begin to focus on next year. And we start that focus just as we did last year with that class of 2021. We want to have school next year for every student, but especially for those rising seniors. We understand how important that senior year is. And as I was having the conversation with my daughter at home, she said, "Dad, this year when you get up there and you start talking about seniors, you get to tell them that you have a senior too." And she's right. So for all of you senior parents out there, I'm in the same boat as you. My baby girl will be a senior this year. So I'm feeling all the same angst and worry that you are as a parent, hoping that we can have the school year. And because of that, we are making every decision in Conroe ISD that we can, with our focus being protect our community and protect the school year. What do we need to do today to ensure that we can have a school year when we start school in August? And let me give you examples of that decision-making process. We have limited travel, which I know for some of you has taken away opportunities to go to summer camps and different activities that you would love to go to. But for us, it's about protecting the school year. We have cut down on our face-to-face staff development so that we don't bring a lot of teachers into the room together or into buildings together so that we can protect the school year. Now, over the last few weeks, I've become very worried about our ability to have school next year. In just the last few weeks, we've had positive tests at all of our strength and conditioning programs at our high schools. We've had, or almost all, we've had positive tests at a few of our food distribution sites, and we've had positive tests here in the administration building. And that's with about 10% of our students and staff working. We've had multiple positive tests. And so that made me worry, and I reached out to the Montgomery County Health Department to start asking questions about, are we going to be able to have school? What do we need to do to be able to have school next year? How do we protect this school year? Well, I began to receive a lot of information back. And one piece of information I received back was from the CEOs of all of our Montgomery County hospitals. So that's Memorial Hermann, Methodist, HCA Conroe, St. Luke's, and Texas Children's. And this is a joint statement from those CEOs, and I'm going to read it directly to you. We are asking our community and government leaders to help support our local hospitals and healthcare workers by encouraging mask coverings in all public places, social distancing with limited gathering of people, and proper hand hygiene. So they have basically asked us to take an education campaign and move it forward, and that's what we do. So we're going to move that forward to you tonight. Now, one of the advantages that we have in Conroe ISD is we have direct access to data. You know, I'm asked often, either when I'm in public or people will email me and say, what media outlets do you use to get your information and help make your decisions? And I will tell you that I don't use any media outlets to do that. We have the benefit in Conroe ISD to be able to go directly to the data sources to get information. In addition to being the superintendent of Conroe ISD, I have the privilege of serving on the board of the Montgomery County Public Health Department. That gets me into a lot of conversations with our health leaders in our community that allows me to get direct information. I want to share a little bit of data with you tonight, and then I'm going to introduce our very special guest to you this evening. So I'm going to start with our Texas Medical Center data. You can find this at www.tmc.edu. It's available for anyone to access at any time. Texas Medical Center data compiles the health information of the Houston area. So it's not just Harris County, but it's all of the surrounding counties, including Montgomery County. So let's take a look just here at a few slides and a few things I want to point out to you. So you can see that we now have 40,572 positive COVID cases here in the Houston area. That caseload is 1.4 times what it was 7 days ago. And that 1.4 multiplier has been increasing steadily. It was 1.1, then to 1.2, now it's 1.4. And the health experts that I've spoken to have said if we get to 1.7 on that number, it's a very dire situation. So we're watching that number very closely. Now, some of you may say, well, of course, we have more positive tests. We're testing more. It's a very valid point, okay? The more you test, the more positive tests you're going to get. But the red line on this slide is something that I want you to take note of. This is the positivity rate. So everyone goes and gets tested. How many of those people that are tested actually have positive tests? You might think that if we test more, the positivity rate would go down because we might be testing more asymptomatic people. However, you can see since the first week of June, our positivity rate has skyrocketed in the Houston area. We are now over 10% in the Houston area for positivity rate. The governor's warning sign was at 10%, and I saw today statewide we are at over a 14% positive test rate across the state. Our next slide just shows hospitalizations. So once again, it's that question of, are we just testing more, or are really people getting sick? And are people even getting sick from this illness? And you can see here that once again, since that week 11, since June 1, the serious spike in hospitalizations for COVID patients. So these are not people that are being able to quarantine at home and get well on their own. These are people that are in the hospital currently seeking treatment. And then finally, from the Texas Medical Center, you'll see the increase in ICU patients. So these are those people that get very sick and need serious medical care, potentially a ventilator. That's what happens in the ICU. And you can see once again that we did so well through the spring. Okay, from March through May, we did so well. And since June 1, we have really spiked out of control, and we have to get that under control. Well, what does it look like locally? So every day our great Montgomery County Public Health Department issues these slides. If you don't see them, you can go to their website and see them on a daily basis if you are curious. But you can see we have 797 active cases in our community, 36 deaths to this point, increase today of 19 active cases, which I hope that's one day, right? It's plus 19 today. Every day last week, we were plus 60, 70, 80, 90. I hope that this is the beginning of a positive trend. We won't know this for another few days, but I hope that that's the beginning of good news. Now, when you look at hospitalizations, it's not just about Montgomery County residents that are hospitalized. It's also about just the number of people that are in our hospitals. You think of all our surrounding counties, and those people are in our hospitals too. Why is that important to us? Because if they're in that bed's not available for us if we need that bed in the future. So you can see the total number of hospitalized and the total number in ICU within our county. And then finally, it's just our chart of total cases in Montgomery County. And once again, I think we can all see that slope change that happened at the beginning of June. And so we have to find a way somehow to stop that. And I think the best way to do it is we've proven that we know how to do this, right? You go back into March, April, May, we were very successful at beating this curve. But here we are in June, and it's going the wrong way. So how do we beat it? Well, I have some special guests with me today. I'll ask you guys to come on in. So joining us today are two really heroes. We talk about heroes a lot, and we have an opportunity today first to say thank you to these two men for all the work that they've done to keep our community safe and healthy throughout this entire pandemic. We have with us today two men from the Montgomery County Health Department. We have Chief James Campbell. He is the Chief EMS Officer in Montgomery County, and Dr. Robert Dixon, the Medical Director for Montgomery County. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. You know, we have this focus. We want to protect our school year.
Sure.
We want to protect our community. But this is a great opportunity for us to hear directly from the experts that are in the field, that are working with sick people and trying to keep us healthy. Talk to our people today. What can we do? What do we need to know?
Thank you for having us, Dr. Knoll. We appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about what's going on in the county and what the future may look like for us for the rest of the year. One of the things that you talked a lot about was protecting the school year, and we translate that into reducing risk. We talk about reducing risk day in and day out. In our EMS service, this is now our 110th day of COVID operations, meaning our crews have been responding to COVID-related calls since March 12th. And one thing I'd like to share is that we have PPE. We're trained and we're ready to respond, and we will continue to answer the call. But when it comes to reducing risk and how it relates to the school year, in my mind, one good analogy is staffing. I'm concerned about our staffing levels as the cases increase in the county. Early on, I think many of us may have heard someone who has been positive, or someone down the street or someone in the neighborhood. I would say today, Many of you probably know somebody who has been positive. To me, that's a sign that it has spread quickly in the community. So when we think about staffing, our employees are working hard on the ambulance 24 hours a day, taking care of patients, transporting them to the hospital, whether it's a time-sensitive emergency or a COVID-related incident or motor vehicle collision. And we haven't had any of our employees who have tested positive as a result of taking care of patients on the ambulance. What worries me is if I have a paramedic at home whose family member becomes positive, and now our paramedic can't come to work because they've had a high-risk exposure. So when you think about how that relates to the school year, you have to have staffing at school. So if you have the virus spread through the school and you lose teachers, you lose support staff, you lose administrative staff, that makes it really hard to keep the school open. So we're all here tonight to hear about what's going to happen at next school year. But really, it's up to each individual household that's on the call. You're going to look at data and make the best decision that you can for the state. But at the end of the day, it's literally in our hands. It's in our hands to control the spread of the virus. And there's some things that we can do, and Dr. Dixon's going to talk about reducing that risk and what that looks like. But similar, if you relate it to Hurricane Harvey, flooding, which we're all accustomed to in Montgomery County, we go out of our way to help our neighbors, even strangers. We help them demo their house. We bring our boats out to help people get off of their roofs. That's what we're asking now as a community, as a county. We have to come together because ultimately the future of the school year, it's up to us as individual households. And Dr. Dixon, you want to talk a little bit about how masks can reduce that risk?
Sure. Thank you, Chief. Dr. Knowles, thanks again for having us here and the opportunity to speak to everybody tonight. As Chief was saying, we are really in charge of our destiny here. There's some troublesome numbers that Dr. Knowles has gone over, and we see this in our community. We see it in our hospital systems and in our EMS system. But there are some things that we can do to empower ourselves, to protect ourselves from this pandemic. Those three things are very simple. It's masks, it's social distancing, and it's hand sanitizer or just hand hygiene. So I like to go back and review how this virus spreads. This is a scary virus, and you see all kinds of scary things. You mentioned the media earlier. When you turn on anything, it's fairly scary what's out there. But at the end of the day, the virus is not floating through the air trying to land on you. The cases are droplet spread. So an example would be I would not be wearing a face covering, and I would sneeze here. And then Chief would want some hand sanitizer, so he would pick up the hand sanitizer or some other object, a pen. We would shake hands and transmit the virus. The virus gets into you via those droplets through your nose, your mouth, or your mucous membranes of your eyes. So it's actually, it spreads very rapidly because we're social animals and we shake hands and we are used to being close to the people we love and the people around us. So the virus itself can be controlled if we go back to some of these social distancing, wearing the mask, and good hand sanitizer.
Great. Well, and so can you go a little deeper into exactly what is the role of the mask?
So the mask is twofold. The main protection of the mask is to protect others around us. So in my example, I have a cough, I have a sneeze. So when I sneeze, the droplets, the infected droplets of the virus come out onto all the surfaces, and they live for an amount of time. And that can be hours. So you could come by later and pick up a pen, even after I'm gone, that could still have active virus on it. So the number one way the masks protect us is to keep us from spreading our germs as we cough, as we sneeze. To a lesser extent, it protects us from those around us who were unable to socially distance. I'm not very far from Chief, but we're both wearing a protective mask. So the chance that he's going to have an infectious droplet, or I am, to infect him is very much reduced.
I think one of the main things that I like about the mask is it's about reducing risk, right? So it keeps me from touching my face. I feel like I'm always touching my face, and now we're more aware of that now than ever. So having this on is a reminder I can't touch my face. And are we perfect at it? We're never going to be 100%. I may take off my mask. I may take it off to take a drink of coffee and put it back on, when in reality I should probably use hand sanitizer between. But if I'm 98% compliant, that's just a little bit better. If I go to the grocery store and I wear my mask 8 out of 10 times, that reduces the risk. It's better than 5 out of 10 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see a question came in that says, what does this health update have to do with next school year? It has everything to do with next school year. Without us taking this advice and changing this curve that we are currently seeing, we're not going to have an opportunity to have next school year. I'm just being 1,000% honest with you. That will be taken out of our hands. The governor has already talked about the fact that 10% was his cutoff for positive tests. We're now seeing 14%. We expected TEA to release last week for us information about face-to-face schooling, and they pulled it at the last minute because the governor had decided that he wasn't sure yet if that could happen. So they have not released that information to us because they're not sure if it will happen. Everyone has told me that I've talked to, from Montgomery County Public Health to members of the governor's strike force that are directly working with the governor about reopening schools, that the next 2 weeks are the most vital 2 weeks that we have as a state, not only for our overall health as a state, but also for reopening schools. So there's a reason that we brought this to you tonight, because 75% of you said on the survey that you want to have face-to-face school, and we want to bring that to you. But we all know that if we don't tackle this now, if we don't get this under control now, we're not going to have that opportunity, and I don't want that. As a parent in Conroe ISD, I don't want that. Chief, as a parent of a Conroe ISD student, I know you don't want that. We had conversation before. Both of us would love for our children to be in school next year. So it does have everything in the world to do with that. Gentlemen, anything else that you would add that we need to know?
One of the things that we kind of monitor social media, we try to update the community as much as we can, and we really spend a lot of time trying to educate and update our paramedics who are on the streets every day and the hospital partners that we work with. And you hear the word fear-mongering a lot. What's good about us, healthcare, Montgomery County Hospital District, the politics of this, we don't have anything to do with that. When you're saying, why is the health update important? It's important because before we even get to school, if this spreads throughout the community, we risk not having enough staff to manage a grocery store. We risk losing enough paramedics where we have 30 ambulances on the road each day. What happens if we get to 15? There's EMS agencies and fire departments in Texas that have had so many positive staff, they can't even respond to 911 when the number is called. And we can't have that here. We have to work hard now to try to curb.
Yeah, so I think the bottom line is we're better than that as a community.
We are.
And our numbers overall, they do look very positive in Montgomery County, but we can do better. We've shown it we can do better. We did better in March and April and May, and we can do better now. And that's our goal, because one of the worst things that can happen to us is that we open school and immediately close it. We don't want that, right? We want to be able to find a way to get into school and stay in school throughout the year. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I know that you've put in a long day already, so I won't ask you to stay for the whole duration, but thank you for being here. We do appreciate you all. Thanks for the work that you and your teams do. We can't say that enough, so we appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, well, we appreciate those guys being here for us today, and great information that they shared, and we can handle this, right? This is something that we can handle, and it's great to hear that, to know that they have all those EMS workers that are on ambulances, and they are taking care of sick COVID-positive people, but because they wear proper PPE, they have not had a single exposure or one person to get sick because of that. That's wonderful to hear, and that helps us know that we can do really well when we do come back to school. So let's begin to talk about next year and what will it look like. Well, the first thing we know is that it's going to require a lot of flexibility and a lot of grace on all of our parts, right? It doesn't matter what decisions we make. We're going to make a lot of people upset. We understand that. We are secure about that. We know that's the way this works. For every email that I get that says, do not open schools, that would be crazy to do. I get another email that says, please open schools. We need our children in schools. And for every email I get that says, make sure that everybody wears masks all the time and gloves, I get another email that says, please don't, create situations in our schools where our children won't be comfortable. So there are a lot of opinions out there, and all we can do as a school district is continue to gather information from great people like those that we just talked to, and continue to work towards a goal that will allow us to build the best plan possible for all kids to feel comfortable. Now, part of that flexibility and grace means we're all going to have a backup plan, and we're going to need a backup plan for our backup plan. What I would anticipate at this point is if we are able to open school, I would expect at some point we're going to have to close schools, and it might be in a moment's notice, and it might be district-wide, but it might be just one campus, it might be just one classroom. But I think for all of us, we're going to have a backup plan so that we're ready to go when things change in a moment's notice. As the chief mentioned, staffing could be an issue. If we were to have an outbreak with bus drivers and all of a sudden we could not run buses, all of us as parents are going to have to be ready to have a backup plan to help get our kids to school in that situation until we can get our workforce back up and healthy. So it's going to require a lot of grace and a lot of patience. Well, one of the things that I will tell you, though, is we're not going to waver. So if you ever wonder, how does Conroe ISD make their decisions? I hope that over the last 7 of these live opportunities, we've given you a glimpse into that, and I'm telling you that it's not going to change into the future. We're going to stay measured. We're going to stay on time with our decisions and not try to get too far in front of ourselves where we have to backtrack constantly. But we're never going to lose the focus that the safety of our 66,000 kids and our 8,500 employees is paramount. That's just absolutely cannot change, and that's going to be very important to us. And that addresses not only physical safety, but also emotional and psychological safety as well. We understand, this impact is not just about the physical impact, but the complete picture. Now, we did send out a survey a few weeks ago, and we had 26,000 responses. That's a great response, 26,000, but I'd remind you we have 66,000 students, so over 40,000 students weren't represented. And as I mentioned earlier, 75% of our families at that point wanted face-to-face instruction. Now, to be fair, our positivity rate has really increased over the last 2 weeks, so I'm not sure if that number would change if we sent that survey back out today, but we'll have more opportunities in the future for parents to weigh in on that. But the concerns that came out of that, as you ranked your top concerns, were hygiene, cleanliness of the buildings, class size, and crowding in areas like the hallways and the cafeteria. So, and we have a staff survey that'll be coming out very soon as well. So what are we doing with that information? What's next? Well, we have all of our departments and all of our campuses are hard at work to address those concerns. Additionally, we have a reopening Conroe ISD committee. It's made up of 71 members. It has central office leadership, campus leadership, teachers, parents, community members, representation from all of our operations staff, from child nutrition, transportation, maintenance, all of them included in this task force. And basically they have 5 subgroups that come out of that task force, and I think they address specifically your concerns that you told us on the survey. Number 1, the breakout group is going to be developing protocols for a safe learning environment. Number 2, preparing high-level academic delivery models for high achievement and mitigation of learning loss. 3, addressing the physical, social, emotional, and nutritional needs of students and staff. Number 4, increasing engagement and equity across all students. And number 5, communication. So how will we best communicate as we know information? So let's talk about what we know. We've hinted at the beginning of this, there are a lot of things that we don't know, and that's just true. I know you wish we knew them. I wish we knew them as well, okay? But we don't, and so we're going to take what we know, and then we'll move into what we don't know. So here's what we know. Our calendar. Our school calendar has not changed. So if you look at our school calendar, we start on August 12th. That is our first day of school. We are starting school on August 12th. Will we be face-to-face or will we be online? I don't know the answer to that question yet, but I can tell you that our first day of school will be August 12th, and that has not changed. When we look back at our survey, A majority of our parents said, hey, if we have to make up days, we would choose that you add minutes, not extend our school year into the summer. So if we had to make up days, that will be our method. We will add minutes to as much as we're able to instead of adding days into the summer. Now, one of the things that we have learned from TEA is there will be no waivers if we miss school. So what does that mean? That means if we miss school, we have to make it up. Now, the only way that we can avoid that is if we switch immediately to online learning. We'll talk more about what online learning looks like and the expectations of the state in just a moment. But if we can switch right away to online learning, then we don't have to make those days up. So in essence, regardless of if you choose face-to-face learning or if you're a teacher that is teaching face-to-face learning, we are all going to have to be prepared to be online learners this year, because at a moment's notice, we could all end up being online learners. We also know from TEA last week that online instruction will be available for this school year. Parents will have a choice to pick face-to-face instruction or online instruction for their students. Now, online instruction will look very different than it did in the spring. It'll be much more rigorous. In the spring, we condensed the curriculum and we really tried to be as flexible as we could with families. In the fall, per TEA's rules, we must teach the entire curriculum to our online learners. So it will be a full slate of all the curriculum, all the assignments with the same grading policies that our face-to-face learners have. They will be equal parallel systems from face-to-face to online, okay? What you can expect, if you're a secondary student, you can expect to be working and engaged in your work as an online learner for at least 4 hours a day. And for elementary students, at least 3 hours a day directly engaged in your online work. Now, if you choose online instruction, you also, we will have to take attendance on you every day. And that attendance, the school district will be held accountable for that, as will you as a student or you as a parent. And what that means is the school district receives funding based on students' attendance every day to school. So if you're not present online that day, then the school district does not receive funding. But also, students, you must complete 90% of the school days in order to gain credit for that school year. So if you were absent from your learning more than 10%, even if you are an online learner, you would not get credit. So if you choose the online option, it may be a great option, but you just have to make sure that you can be present and making progress in your courses every single day. That's the expectation of the state, and we'll have to take attendance to make sure that we do that. The other thing we know, as we talked about, is interruptions are going to be likely. Okay, we know we're going to have interruptions, be it to classes or be it to services. That's something that we know. Now, what do we not know yet? We don't know for sure if we're going to get to have face-to-face instruction in August. TEA and the governor have not given us permission yet to do that, and they have not told us what the rules will be if we do it. Okay? We don't know about UIL events. We don't know about athletics and band and drill team and cheer. We don't know about those events yet. We're still waiting on guidance from the state to tell us if we will be allowed to have those events. We also don't know exactly what the state's timeline is to share that information with us. Now, I can tell you through some kind of back channel conversations that I've had with folks, we have targeted July 10th as a day that the state may give us more information. So hopefully July 10th will be the day that we'll get more information, and once we have that information, we'll be able to share it with you. So what are our next steps? Where do we go from here, okay, today? Well, we will continue running all of our multiple scenarios and planning, okay? We don't know what the state's going to tell us about face-to-face instruction, so we're going to keep running all our scenarios to make sure that we're ready for whatever plan they give us. If it's a feasible plan that we can make it happen, we want to be ready to make it happen. We're continuing to build our online instruction model so that our teachers have the resources they need, and for students, you're ready to go on that first day of school. As soon as the state releases information, we will synthesize that as fast as we can. We'll come back to a medium just like this and share that information with you. And at that point, once we can tell you what face-to-face school looks like, then we will ask you parents to make a choice. We can't ask you to make a choice today. We haven't told you what face-to-face will look like. You can't make an educated decision today. We understand that, so we can't ask you to do that. So once we have that information from the state and we can share it with you, Then we will give you the online information, we will give you the face-to-face information, and you will have that opportunity to make your choice, and we'll go from there. You will declare for the year. In the meantime, we continue to buy up all of the cleaning supplies that we can buy. We continue to buy all the hand sanitizer that we can buy, and we are buying as much technology as is possible as well, because we know if our students need to go online, we are going to have to help kind of bridge that technology gap for some of our students. So that's where we are. There are some things that we know. There are things that we don't know today. But what we do know is we want to protect the school year, right? What can we do as a community to protect our school year? We want to have school in the fall. So protecting our school year is a priority, and we hope to have more information soon. So let's look at a few questions of how we're going to handle these things. And some of them we may not have answers yet, but we'll try. Why did other districts release plans and Conroe ISD has not? I can't speak for other school districts. I can only tell you that we haven't been given guidance yet from TEA. So for us to release a plan at this point for face-to-face instruction would be premature because we would not know if those were really the rules. So it would be us making up rules knowing that another agency is going to come over the top of us in just a few weeks and tell us what we have to do. So rather than bring you information and change it and change it and change it, we want to bring you accurate information. If we were to bring you a plan today for face-to-face instruction and ask you to declare, do you want face-to-face or do you want virtual, and then in 2 weeks we change the plan for face-to-face, we would have to come back and ask you again because it'd be a new plan. So we would rather wait and do it at the right time. Let me go through. How are we going to disinfect schools during the year? So we have also purchased a lot more e-misting machines. So those are machines that come through and spray the mist that kills the virus, and we'll be able to clean those every single night. So we're going to be cleaning the full building every night with e-misting machines. So we're fortunate to have that. Will students have to wear masks, and what about young children? We don't have the answer to that yet. Early guidance from TEA said you may not have to wear that. I don't know if their guidance will change. One of the conversations that I've had with Chief and Doc before we came on live was, if we really want to protect our school year and we want to try to keep everybody healthy and protect our students, protect our staff at the very least, it'd probably be recommended for students to wear masks in common areas, right? So class change, for example, or on a bus where they're going to be in maybe tighter quarters. So, but we don't have the answers for that yet, so we're going to still be working on that. That'll be part of what we'll talk about in 2 weeks. What about children with special needs? What if my child can't wear a mask? Certainly, that'll all be taken into account. And I am not telling you tonight that we're going to mandate masks for every student. That's not at all what we're saying tonight. I want to make sure that's clear. This is a great question. What about extracurriculars? Will kids get to participate in band if they do online instruction? And our initial thoughts right now, once again, it's early, but our initial thoughts right now is yes, if you have the ability to bring your child up at some point during the day for their athletics class or band class, but you want to do online for the rest of the day, I believe we're going to be able to make that happen. That's part of what we're efforting for. We want to be able to give you that flexibility. So that will be a goal of ours. What about parents who are working? Hopefully we're going to have face-to-face instruction. That's the goal here, right? I mean, that's your take home, I hope, when we finish this conversation tonight, is you're going to go back and say, Conroe ISD is doing everything they can to have face-to-face instruction, because we understand that our society can't get back to normal until we have school, right? Until you can send your kids to school and know they're safe and know they're learning so that you can go to work. So that's our goal. Everything we're doing is to try to get to that point. What will buses look like? Once again, we're waiting on TEA's guidance for that, but we will be cleaning buses the same way we clean classrooms as well. What numbers are being looked at to know that schools can open? So first, it will be, it goes to the governor first, right? So in the end, in the spring, we were closed by the governor. So he's going to look, and he's talked about the numbers he looks at are positivity rate. That's one of his big numbers that he looks at when he makes decisions whether to open or close the state. So I believe that's what he'll look at. And then I will go back, and if we're given the option, here that we can open. We have to see the rules that they put on us, and then we'll get that opportunity to look at numbers here. And I have conversations with Chief, I have conversations with Doc, and all of our hospital CEOs to get their feelings on how safe will it be for us to open schools, and what do we need to do to keep our community safe and our schools safe. And once again, it's about protecting the school year, and it's not just about opening the school year on August 12th. It's about not having to close the school year on August 20th, right? We don't want to come to school and then immediately close because we have an outbreak. So what can we do to ensure that we can stay open throughout the year? That's one of our goals. Will technology, computers be provided? Again, we are working on that. We're ordering all that we can. Certainly we know that if you have multiple children, that can be a really big burden as well. So we're working on hotspots and laptops, all that we can buy. Question about lunchrooms, that's going to be a campus decision, but how can we spread students out in the lunchroom? Some campuses it's easier than others, right? We have some campuses where, elementary campuses, where the lunchroom is the cafeteria. It's the lunchroom, it's the stage, auditorium, it's the PE classroom, and those are a little harder. Some of our other places have separate gyms that perhaps we could use, and we can do that. How does CISD communicate positive cases with those that have been in contact? So we send out emails directly to affected campuses. So for example, if your child is involved in a strength and conditioning program at a high school and we had a positive test, then the email goes out to everybody that was on that campus at this point. And then the county will come out and do contact tracing. So they would tell you if you had direct contact with somebody. We can't share that personal information, but the county would then bring that information to you. So we will, that's our current system. We don't know, once again, we can add this to the list of things we don't know for the fall, is what TEA's expectations will be for us in notification in the fall. But that's something else that we will learn. What are the schools being cleaned with? So in our e-misting, the chemicals are CDC approved, and so it's known to kill the virus, and so it's sprayed out as a mist, and then it dries and it goes away. So that's something that we've used. Now, over my shoulder here tonight, you've seen this little logo that says the roadmap to reopening in Conroe ISD, and this, you'll see a similar image on our website in the coming days as we will make active our reopening website here very soon. And we're going to begin to share information with you. So as soon as we have information, it will go on this website. We will come back here to speak to you directly when we know more information as well. You know, it was mentioned today that this roadmap to reopening, the image seems kind of correct. It's not really a direct line, right? It's kind of a squiggly line, and that seems very fitting for the work that we're doing right now. So know that we're doing the best that we can. Know that we want to keep you and your family safe, and we will do all that we can to make sure that that happens. Thank you for being a part of tonight. Sorry for the technical difficulties early on. Appreciate you migrating over to YouTube and being a part of this evening. I wish you and your family a very safe summer. Thank you.